Matthew 27:62. Now on the next day, the day after the preparation, the chief priests and the Pharisees gathered together with Pilate and said, "Sir, we remember that when he was still alive, that deceiver said, 'After 3 days I am to rise again.' Therefore give orders for the grave to be made secure until the 3rd day. Otherwise his disciples may come and steal him away and say to the people, 'He has risen from the dead.' And the last deception will be worse than the first." Pilate said to them, "You have a guard. Go, make it as secure as you know how." And they went and made the grave secure. And along with the guard, they set a seal on the stone. On several different occasions, Jesus had warned his disciples that he would be crucified and that he would rise again on the 3rd day. Bless their hearts, the disciples never really believed him, or else they just misunderstood him, or they thought that he was speaking in parables and riddles. But his enemies understood exactly what he had said. By the way, they called him a deceiver. I wonder if they could produce even one deception coming from him. If they thought that Jesus was being deceptive in promising his own resurrection, then why post a guard? They knew the disciples had scattered and were defeated. No way they would have the guts to try to steal his dead body. And why would they do so in the first place? As far as the disciples were concerned, the movement that Jesus had started died with him on the cross. The best thing to do would be to go back to fishing. And even if they did muster enough courage to try to pull off a grave theft, well, a little torture would persuade 1 or 2 of the disciples to fess up to the lie. When Jesus did, in fact, rise again, in spite of the guard, the opposition continued to push this absurd cover-up instead of accepting the wonderful truth. Going across the page to 28:15. Now, while they were on their way, some of the guard came into the city and reported to the chief priests all that had happened. And when they had assembled with the elders and consulted together, they gave a large sum of money to the soldiers and said, "You are to say his disciples came by night and stole him away while you were asleep. And if this should come to the governor's ears, we will win him over and keep you out of trouble." And they took the money and did as they had been instructed. And this story was widely spread among the Jews, as it is to this day, and probably to this day too. During subsequent years, one by one, each of the disciples, except John, suffered cruel and torturous deaths because they maintained the truth of the resurrection. Not one of them cracked and admitted to a hoax. They had seen Jesus alive. What's just amazing as the resurrection is the continued unbelief of the religious leaders, the very ones who should have embraced their resurrected Messiah. Sadly, Jesus was right when he said that even if someone were to rise from the dead, some would still refuse to believe. What about you?